Hello and welcome to another exam paper walkthrough. This is going to be a past paper and we're going to be concentrating on the Edexcel Foundation, and we're going to be looking at the November 21 series. There is in the description to this video there is a link to a copy of this paper. I would strongly recommend that you either have already done the paper or you do it alongside the video to get the most out of it. I hope you enjoy it, and please subscribe if you like. Okay, so like I said, there's a copy of this, there's a link to a copy of this in the thread to this chat. Feel free to download a copy and print it out. The only difference between this and the actual paper is I've just added a QR code for anyone that just gets a copy of this paper. It takes you directly to the video. I do recommend having some music on in the background. I've got an earpod in with some music on just to keep it a bit more interesting for you. Again, I hope this works for you. Okay, so question 1, write 3/10 as a percentage. So percentages are out of 100. So we would, in effect, in our heads, we would convert that to being out of 100. So 30 out of 100. So it would be 30%. Question 2, write the following numbers in size order, starting with the smaller. So we've got a mixture of negative and positive integers. So our smallest one is going to be -10, followed by -7, followed by -2. And that's all my negative numbers. Then we go in 0, 1, and 8. So double check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Question 3, write 9/100ths as a decimal. 9/100ths, as I say, is 9/100ths, so 0.09. Question 4, write 327 correct to the nearest 10. So we're either going to 320 or 330. And this one, because of the 7 here, it's close to 330. So 330. Question 5, write down the value of 7 squared. Well, that means 7 times by 7. And 7 times by 7 is going to be 49. Question 6a, write down the mathematical name of this shape. So we've got a pair of parallel sides. So that's going to be just a trapezium. It looks like so trapezium. Part B, write down the mathematical name of this 3D shape. So that's going to be a cylinder. Okay. Question 7, 42 pounds is shared equally between 3 friends. How much does each one get? So we're doing 42 divided by 3. So 3 is going to 4 once fully with 1 left over. 3 is going to 12 4 times. So each friend would get 14 pounds. Okay, question 8. Grace records the eye colours of each student in her class. The frequency table shows her results. Grace then drew the bar chart of this information. Write down one thing that is wrong with the bar chart. So we're looking, let's just check out axes. Blue, brown, green, labelled as eye colour. Frequency 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So no issues there. Let's look. Blue should have been plotted at 10. Brown should have been plotted at 15. So there's our mistake. So brown should show 15, not 16 in the bar chart. Question 9. Danny buys 1 loaf of bread for £1.20, 1 bottle of milk for 70 pence, and 2 packets of cheese for £3.30 each packet. Danny pays for a £10 note. He says, I should get £3.30 change. Is Danny correct? Okay, so we want to do £1.20 plus 70 pence plus 0.7 plus 2 times by £2.30. So we want to work that out first of all. So let's just do those two added together would be 1.9 plus 2 lots of this would be £4.60. So that should give us, if I add those two together, that would give me £6.50. So then I'm going to do £10 minus £6.50. which would give me £3.50. So I should get £3.30 change. Is Danny correct? No. Danny should get £3.50 change. Okay, question 10. Rachel records the temperature in her garden at noon each day. On Monday, the temperature was 5 degrees C. On Tuesday, the temperature was 10 degrees less than the temperature on Monday. On Wednesday, the temperature was 3 degrees greater than the temperature on Tuesday. Find the difference between the temperature on Monday and the temperature on Wednesday. You must show how you got your working. We've got the actual initial temperature doesn't really matter. On Tuesday, the temperature was 10 degrees greater, so we've got plus 10. On Wednesday, the temperature was 3 degrees. Sorry, I've done it the wrong way around. It was less than. It was 10 degrees less than the temperature on Monday, and then on Wednesday it was 3 degrees hotter. So there's a difference of 7, well, minus 7 technically. Find the difference between the temperature on Monday and the temperature of Tuesday. So there's a 7 degree difference. It's technically 7 degrees cooler, but it just asks for the difference. Question 11. The pictogram shows information about the number of video games sold in a shop on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're given the key 1 square represents 8 video games. How many video games were sold on Monday? Well, we've got 2 full squares, so it's going to be 2 times 8, so we would have 16 sold. More video games were sold on Tuesday than on Wednesday. How many more? Well, if we look in terms of pictures, or we can look in terms of well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 small squares, and each of those small squares is worth 2, so we've got 12 more sold. On Tuesday and Friday, there were a total of 32 video games sold in the shop. A quarter of these 32 video games were sold on the shop on Thursday. Complete the pictogram for this information. Well, a quarter of 32 is going to be 8, so we need 8 for Tuesday. For Thursday, and we've got 32, 8, 16, so I've done a third. No, sorry, what am I talking about? 8, 16, 24 for Friday. So that's going to be 1 full square for Thursday. Right, roughly, and 3 full squares for Friday. There we go. Question 12. There are 2 drama groups in school. In one group there are 36 boys and 48 girls. In the other group, 3/7 of the students are boys and the rest are girls. Anne says the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls is the same in both groups. Is Anne correct? You must show how you got your answer. Okay, so if we look at group 1, so group 1, we've got the ratio of boys to girls is 36 to 48. And then for group 2, again, I'm going to set it up as a ratio, boys to girls, and then in effect, we've got 3/7 of boys, so that means that there must be 7 parts, meaning that there are 4 girls. So we need to simplify this ratio down, and I'm just thinking 12 goes into them both. 12 goes, so if I divide these by 12, so 36 divided by 12 is 3, and 48 divided by 12 is 4. So is Anne correct? Yes. Both ratios are 3 to 4. Question 13. A number sequence starts 1, 2, 4. Emma says that the next term is 7. Explain why Emma may be correct. So let's kind of show it. Difference there is 1, difference there is 2. If the difference there is 3, then the next number would be 7. So I've kind of shown it there. Explain why Emma may be correct. The difference between each number is increasing by 1 each time. Okay, here are the first 4 terms of a sequence of triangle numbers. Find the 8th term in this sequence. So for the 5th one, we'd be adding 5 to this. For the 6th one, we'd be adding 6. So in effect, we want to do 10 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. And then if we do this, let's do this in kind of pairs. So that would be 15, 21 plus 15. So that would be 36. Question 14. 3 kilograms of carrots cost £1.80. 2 kilograms of carrots and 5 kilograms of potatoes cost a total of £3.45. Work out the total cost of 4 kilograms of carrots and 2 kilograms of potatoes. Okay, so in effect, we're starting by saying, if I say C stands for carrots, 3C is equal to £1.80. So that means that C is going to be equal to £1.80 divided by 3 is going to be 0.6. And then if I look and say 2 carrots plus 5 kilograms of plus 5p is equal to £3.45. Well, 2C is going to be 1.2 plus 5p is going to be equal to £3.45. So if I minus 1.2 from both sides, that would give me 5p is equal to £2.25. So p is going to be equal to 0.45. No, that's not quite right, is it? So let's actually do the division here. 5 into £2.25. 5 doesn't go into 2. 5 goes 4 times into 20 with 2 left over, and then 5 times. So yeah, 45 pence. But the question was, work out the cost of 4 lots of C plus 2 lots of P. Well, 4 lots of that is going to be £2.40 and 0.9, so we're looking at £3.60 or £3.60. Just spotted 2.4 plus 0.9 is not 3.6. Silly mistake there. It's £3.30. There we go. I think that's right now. Okay, question 15, expand. So 2 times by A would give us 2A, and then 2 times by D would give us 2D. So 2A plus 2D. Factorize, so we're going to take out Y as our common factor, and that would leave us with 6Y minus 5. And then our final one, solve. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So 4x is going to be equal to 42. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So x would be equal to 10.5 or 10.5. And again, made a mistake here. If I add 7, that would be 44, not 42. So I thought that was a bit more complicated than it needed to be, so x is going to be 11. Okay, question 16. ABCD is a kite. AB is 4x minus 2 centimeters. Jasper says that x could be 0.5. Explain why Jasper cannot be correct. Because if x is 0.5, 4x minus 2 would be equal to 4 times by 0.5 minus 2, which is equal to 0. And AB can't be 0. Oop. Can't be 0. Okay, AD is 3 lots of AB, so if we go 3AB for now. Okay, the kite has a perimeter of 64. Work out the value of x. Well, if we so the perimeter is going to be AB plus AB. I'll just kind of put AB there for now. AB and 3AB. So the perimeter is going to be 8AB. So 8AB, which is equal to 64. And we know that AB is equal to 4x minus 2 is equal to 64. So that's just tidied it up really quickly. So if I divide both sides by 8, I would get 4x minus 2 is equal to 8. Add 2 on both sides. 4x is equal to 10. So x would be equal to 2.5 or 2.5. Okay, question 17 then. Heidi wants to make some biscuits using this recipe. Biscuits makes 12 biscuits. Heidi thinks that she has. Assuming that the weights are correct, work out the greatest number of biscuits she can make. So I'm going to look at batches. So she's got enough butter to make 500 divided by 125 is going to be equal to 4. So she can make 4 batches using the butter. And I'm going to do the same for the flour and the sugar. So flour, she's got 700 grams and she needs 200 grams for each version of the recipe. So she's got enough for 3.5 batches of flour. And then for sugar, she's got 250 grams and she needs 50. So she's got enough for 5 batches of using the sugar. So our limiting factor here is the flour. So we can only make 3.5 batches using the flour. So we can only make 3.5 or 3.5. We'll do 3.5 times by each batch will produce 12. So that's going to be 3 times 12 is 36, and then half of 12 is 6. So we've got enough for 42 biscuits. Heidi is wrong. She has more than 250 grams of sugar. Does this affect the greatest number of biscuits she can make? Well, sugar wasn't our limiting factor. Our limiting factor was flour. So does this affect our answer? No. Flour is our limiting factor. Factor, not sugar. Question 18. On the grid below, draw the graph of y is equal to 2x minus 2 for the values of x from minus 2 to 3. So I am going to do this straight away from the equation, so properties of the equation. So if I compare that to mx plus c, m would be equal to 2 and c would be equal to minus 2. So that means that we're going to cross the y-axis at minus 2, and for every 1 across, I'm going to go up 1. So that's going to be my equation. And then doing them up with a straight line. So that's the way that I would tend to do this. We have also got the option of, if you're not confident with that, you can do it from a table of values. So we can say, we can come up with some values for x and find out what the values for y would be. So we'll do 3 points. So when x is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, so it would be minus 2, which would give us the coordinate 0, minus 2. We can say when x is 3, that would become 6 minus 2 would be 4, so that would give us the coordinate 3, 4. And then when x is minus 2, that would become minus 4 minus 2 would be minus 6, which will give us the coordinate minus 2, minus 6. And then if I plot those, hopefully they'll match my line. So minus 2 minus 6, 0 minus 2, and then 3, 4. So could have done it from a table of values as well, but both methods are absolutely fine. I find the properties of the equation more efficient. Okay, question 19. Robin buys a watch for £80. He sells the watch for £56. Work out the percentage loss. So we need to do the percentage change, which is 80 minus 56. So I'll just change that to red as well. Divided by the original amount, so divided by 80. So 80 minus 56 is going to be 24 out of 80, and then technically we need to times this by 100 to get it as a percentage. So that makes it much easier for us to do. We can cancel the 0, and then we can say 24 divided by 8 is 3, so it's 30% loss. So percentage loss, it already says loss there, is 30%. Okay, question 20. Work out 3.67 times by 4.2. So whenever I'm doing decimal multiplication with a formal method, I ignore the decimals. So I would treat it as, I'm actually going to change my pen to blue because it's irritating me that it keeps switching. So 367 times by 42. So column multiplication for this then, 2 times by 7 is 14. 2 times by 6 is 12, plus the 1 is 13. 2 times by 3 is 6, plus the 1 is 7. Then I'm timesing by 10, so I put 0 in my units column. 7 times by 4 times by 7, is 28. And then 4 times by 6 is 24, plus the 2 is 26. And then 4 times by 3 is 12, plus the 2 is 14. And I'm adding these two numbers together. 4 plus 0 is 4. 3 plus 8 is 11. 7 plus 6 plus 1 is 14. So I've got the digits 15414. So the answer to this will have the digits 15414. We've ignored 3 decimal digits, so we need to put 3 decimal digits in. So I'm going to go with 15.414. Right, and then work out 59.84 divided by 1.6. So I don't mind having a decimal as my numerator, but I don't like a decimal as my denominator. So I'm going to change this, and hopefully this makes sense. 59.84 over 1.6. So if I times the numerator and the denominator by 10, the size of the number won't change. All that will happen is that I will get rid of my decimal in my denominator. So I would do this division then. I would actually simplify this slightly. So I would halve both numbers first of all. Just because I don't know my 16 times table very confidently. I know my 8's much easier. So if I halve this number first of all, so half of 5 is 2.5, a half of 19 is 8, a half of 18 is 9.2 divided by 8. And I could halve it again. I will actually halve it again, yeah. So that would be 144.6 divided by 4. And then to be fair, we may as well halve it again. So that's going to be 72.3 divided by 2. Then we could halve it again. In fact, that would probably make sense at this point now that we've done it a few times. So half of 72 is going to be 36.15. just double check my working. Okay, so if I halve that number, I've messed up straight away here. That should have been a 9. And then if I halve that number, that would be 1, that would be 4.5, so that would be a 9. Okay, if I halve that number, we're going to get this digit here. These digits here are going to be wrong. Half of 9 would be 4, 8, and then if I halve that, I'm going to get half of 74 is going to be 37.4. So apologies there. Okay, question 21. So we've got a Venn diagram to fill in. So even numbers less than 19, even numbers less than 19, and then we've got set A, set B. So I'm going to run down the list. So if we start with 2, 2 is just in set B. 4 is in none. 6 is in just set B. 8 is in none. 10 is in none. 12 is in just set A. And I've misplaced 6. 6 would be in the intersection because it's in both. 12 is just in set A. 14 is just in set B. 16 is in neither. And 18 is in the intersection as well. So there we go. Okay, question 22. So we've got a subtraction of mixed numbers. So I'm going to do this 2 ways. You can choose which way you prefer. So the first one is by treating the number part and the fraction part separately. Okay, so the number part here would be 2. And then we need to put these over the same denominators, so that's going to be 15. So this one's times by 3, and this one's times by 5. So we've got 2, and now it's minus 7 over 15, which would be 1 and 8 over 15. My second one is to convert them both into improper fractions first of all. So that would be 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1 would be 21 over 5. And then 2 times 3 would be 6 plus 2 would be 8 over 3. Now we put them over the same denominator and multiplication gets a bit more complicated, but nothing too heavy. So if I times this one by 3, that would give me 63. If I times this one by 5, that would give me 40. So that would give me 13, not 13, it would give me 23 out of 15, which would be 1 and 8 out of 15. So same answer. Which of those two methods you prefer is completely up to you. I tend to prefer this method, but when we've actually got a minus a fraction there, it becomes slightly more complicated, but nothing too difficult. This second method, I'm not a big fan of making these numerators so large. I just find that it leads to a lot of mistakes. Okay, question 23. At the end of 2017, the value of Tamara's house was 220,000 and the value of Rahim's house was 160,000. At the end of 2019, the value of Tamara's house had decreased by 20% and Rahim's had increased by 30%. So at the end of 2019, whose house had the greater value? Okay, so we're going to start with T's house. So if the full amount is 22,000, then I'm going to say that 10% would be 22,000, so 20% would be 44,000. So 80%, which is current price, or 2019's price, is going to be 176,000. Just double checking that. Take away 20, and then take away 4 more. Yeah. And then if we look at R's house, so this time similar process. 100% is 160,000. So 10% would be 16,000. So 30% would be 3248,000. Just double checking that. 32. Okay. So 130%. So it's going to be 208,000. Okay, so whose house is worth the more money? That would be Ramin's. At the end, whose house had the greater value? Let me just undo that. There we go. So Ramin's let's clear up my writing a little bit. Ramin's house has a greater value as £208,000 is greater than 176,000. RM and I collect stickers, and we're given the ratio, and we're going to put that in a slightly more user-friendly for myself. R, M, and I, 4 to 7 to 15. We're told Ibrahim has 24 more than M, so there's 8 parts. There's a difference of 8 parts. So I'm going to do 24 divided by, I'll just show it, 15 minus 7. So 24 divided by 8 is going to be 3. So each part is going to be worth 3. Ibrahim has more stickers than Rosie. How many more? So there's 11 parts. So 11 times by 3 is going to be 33. Okay, cross-section of a prism is a right-angled triangle. The base of the triangle is 5 centimeters. The prism has a length of 25 centimeters. The prism has a volume of 750 centimeters cubed. Calculate the height, so we'll call the height x for now. So the volume of a prism is a cross-sectional area, which is a triangle, so a half of h times 5 times by the length of 25, and that's got to be equal to 750. Right, so I'm going to say that so I'm going to get rid of the half by doubling both sides. So I'm going to say h times by 5 times by 25 is 125. It's going to be equal to 1,500. And then if I divide both sides by 125, I get h is equal to 12. So the height of the prism is going to be 12 centimeters. I'm just going to show that to double check. 1,500 divided by 125. Well, it goes once into that with 25 left over, and then that goes in twice. Yeah, so 12. 26. The diagram shows a cube with edges of length x and a sphere with a radius of 3. The surface area of the cuboid of the cube is equal to the surface area of the sphere, show that x is equal to the square root of k times pi, where k is an integer. Okay, so if we look at the cube first of all, the surface area of the cube is going to be equal to x squared, that would be the face, one face, times by 6, so it would be equal to 6x squared. And then if we look at the surface area of the sphere, the surface area is going to be equal to 4 times by pi times by 9. So that's going to be 36 pi. Okay, and we're told that they're equal, so 6x squared is going to be equal to 36 pi. Divide both sides by 6. X squared is going to be equal to 6 pi. So I then need to square root both sides, so x is going to be equal to the square root of 6 pi, which is what we were asked to show. Question 27. Freddie measures the length of a pencil to 7.2 centimeters, correct to 1 decimal place. Complete the error interval. So it's been rounded to 7.2 instead of 7.1, or instead of 7.3. So the smallest value that would be rounded using the inequality symbol is going to be 7.15, and the largest value would be 7.25, although we would round that value up technically, so we need the correct symbol there, which we've already got. And question 28, the equation of a straight line L is y is equal to 3 minus 4x. Write down the gradient of the line. Okay, so I'm just going to rearrange this for a specific reason to y is equal to minus 4x plus c. So if I compare that with y is equal to mx plus c, the gradient of that line is going to be m, which would be minus 4. And part 2, write down the coordinate of where the line crosses the y-axis. So that's going to be kind of the intercept. So it's going to cross the line when x is 0 and y is equal to, I miswrote there, 3. So 0, 3. Okay, and that brings us to the end of the paper. So before I sign off, I'm just going to bring up the skills mapped so you can see topics for each question. Okay, so this is quite a useful table. Now that we've done the paper, all 28 questions, all of the topics that each question is listed here. So if, for example, you struggled the most on question 18, you might want to do some specific revision on graphs of linear functions. As well as that, if you're particularly interested, this also tells you the average score that students found for those questions. And then I will also bring up grade boundaries for this paper. Okay, so this is from Edexcel. So these are the grade boundaries that they awarded for that paper. This is the foundation paper 1. So on that paper alone, you needed sort of 44 for a grade 4 and 56 for a grade 5. And then that's the overall paper grade boundaries. So I hope you found that useful. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Please feel free to add any comments, questions or queries into the chat for this, and I'll get back to you fairly quickly. I'm pretty prompt with that. Thank you for your time, and remember, if you found this useful, subscribe if you like.